The new PTB for Dead by Daylight is here, and unexpectedly it brought probably my new favorite killer, Kaneki, otherwise known as the Ghoul. I won't be going over his gameplay, but instead his background, references I could find, and general lore things from Tokyo Ghoul that have been brought over to Dead by Daylight. If you've known me for more than 5 seconds or just, well, looked at my profile, you'd know that Tokyo Ghoul is probably my #1 favorite manga of all time, and I'd like to express that with you all with this video. So, yeah, let's get into it. Kaneki is of course the protagonist of Tokyo Ghoul. He was once a college student, living a normal life, until he went on a date with a ghoul named Rise Kamishiro. During the date, she tries to eat him, an accident happens, and her organs are transplanted into him to save his life. Now from this quick little synopsis alone, if his story has taught me anything in life, is that if the baddie looks too good to be true, then more likely than not it probably is. His appearance and outfit is more representative of the one in the anime, after he joins with the Aogiri. I know some of you are probably worried about this, and although there is nothing that screams directly which version of Kaneki this is, whether we're anime or manga, I am willing to say this is, Dead by Daylight's own version of the character. The reason I say this is that he is way more animalistic, embracing more of his ghoul side and being more reminiscent of when he uses his kakuja, more than anything. And this is probably due to the entity's influence. He is saying phrases and words that he has attachment to, clawing away at his head, and of course, screaming and wailing his head off. The way I see it, I like to think that the entity is trying to dehumanize him and have him be nothing more than just a mindless human-eating ghoul, as Kaneki in this state gives the entity the most emotion. I mean, just listen to him. This is not the Kaneki that we know that fought Marasaka or Amon, as in those fights he is coherent in some way, but here the only time he talks is when he's in the menu and when he's doing his Mori. It is no secret that the entity manipulates some killers so that they do what is needed of them, and Kaneki is of course no exception to this rule. As mentioned earlier, it is as if he is embracing more of his side of a ghoul, but instead of being more ruthless and brutal, like how he was post-Aogiri when he is embracing his ghoul side, he is behaving more to how he is nearing starvation. He speaks in a disorganized manner, loses control of his kagune, and is acting more on instinct. There is a reason why he enters the second part of his power after he licks the blood off of a survivor, and that is because he's getting a taste of an actual meal after God knows how long. Because the entity is more than likely than not starving him of any kind of sustenance, and when ghouls hunger, they lose sight of everything and only act on instinct. This second one is more of a headcanon, I'd say, but I'd like to think it's actually happening, and it really makes no sense for it not to. And that is that the centipede that Jason put in Kaneki's ear is now back in his head, crawling around. Although he removed it after his fight with Jason, the damage it did to him was already done, so the centipede is still crawling around in his psyche, and it influences the shape of his kakuja, and the centipede in the story in general it means a lot. So it wouldn't be too far off to say that the entity just, put it back in there. Now, these are all of Kaneki's quotes. I'm not sure if these are all of them. I'm pretty sure there probably are, but these are the ones I've been able to find and attach a reference to. So, yeah, here they are. The point in the story where Kaneki says this is when he is facing off against Amon for the second time during the Owl Suppression arc. He wished not to kill him, and before the fight he inquires his name, to which Amon responds, while also giving Kaneki one last request to not die. Kaneki says this during his fight with Jason, after he fully activates his cognate against him. I had a bit of trouble finding the exact moment this quote was said, but the more notable moment this was said is when Kaneki's subconscious version of Rize is helping him confront the issues of his past. Although he does not say it himself here, it is still a rather important moment. Another moment, it is said, is when he says it to Urie after the Tsukiyama family extermination. This obviously isn't a direct moment as this takes place during Ri, but I feel like it is still worth the mention. Kaneki says this after confronting his past and devouring the subconscious version of Rize, coming to terms that he is indeed a ghoul, fully embracing that side of him. Now this quote comes from Jason, as this was a method he gave Kaneki to keep his mind busy so that he doesn't pass out during the torture. Kaneki then repeats it to Jason right before devouring him. You tried to devour me, so you have no room to complain if I eat you, do you? Kaneki says this line to Jason right before the fight officially kicks off. I'm not wrong. What's wrong is this messed up world. Kaneki says this after he builds up the conclusion that what is wrong is the natural state of this world and human society as a whole. He says this because Kaneki, being formerly a human turned into a ghoul, he has been thrusted from one world into the other and has to learn how to live with that. Although later on in the story, Kaneki's worldview changes from the world is wrong to the world isn't wrong, it just is, as there is no wrong and there is no right. It's us as individuals who chooses what is wrong and what is right. Now I'm gonna move on to his add-ons. I didn't put this in the script, or any of them. In fact, I don't even fully know what they are, but I will go in game, record them, and say everything off the top of my head from what I think they're referencing. Now, getting into Kaneki's add-ons, the first brown add-on is The Black Goat's Egg. The Black Goat's Egg is a book made by Sentakatsuki, and that is the book that Kaneki was reading and later found out that Rize was also reading, which in turn led to them talking and, well, the date. Now the summary of the story itself centers around the relationship between a young man, his mother, and a brutal serial killer known as the Black Goat. The boy is disgusted over his mother's cruel actions, and he begins to discover that he has the same depraved impulses within him as well. It is clear what the book itself is parallel and is referenced to within the series, so I feel like there's no need for me to say that for you. Kaneki's wallet. Kaneki's wallet is of course a reference to when Juzo bumped into Kaneki and stole his wallet. Fresh coffee. Coffee is something used by ghouls it's one of the only things ghouls can handle that isn't, human meat. So coffee is kind of like their way to suppress their hunger and, not go crazy. Anteku apron is the aprons that are used in Anteku Cafe. And of course, where Kaneki and everyone, majority of the cast used to work in Anteku, because they made coffee, yada yada yada. Taiyaki. Taiyaki is a reference to when Hide and Kaneki were with Nishiki, and Nishiki was confirmed to be a ghoul at this point, and he ate it with seemingly no consequences. This of course took Kaneki aback, as the taste of normal food is absolutely horrendous to ghouls. So seeing Nishiki take a bite out of Taiyaki so naturally, of course, surprised him. Kaneki's satchel. This is of course the satchel Kaneki used for the majority of the story in the beginning. Hide's headphones. Hide's headphones are, well, Hide's headphones. Broken chain. Broken chain is a chain Kaneki broke after he broke free from the chair, obviously, and then he fought Jason against. Or I think it's the one he broke against Jason. I'm not sure, but it's a chain that Kaneki broke after he broke free. Bloodstained handkerchief. This bloodstained handkerchief is, I think, if I remember correctly, the blood of Kaneki that Tsukiyama always sniffed, I think. I'm not sure. My knowledge has been deteriorating recently, which is a shame. Rize's glasses are, of course, Rize's glasses. Simple as that. Mado's glove is of course the glove used by Kiryu Mado. He is seen wearing these majority of the time. And this transitions to the next add-on, Hinami's umbrella, as this was the umbrella Hinami was holding during the day her mother was taken from her by Kiryu Mado, as it was of course raining that day. Aogiri Tree Robe. This is the robe worn by Aogiri members, and Aogiri members are of course the terrorist ghoul group formed that are usually the main antagonists. Amon's necktie is, well, Amon's necktie. Torture apparatus is the device that Jason used to cut and dismember Kaneki's fingers and toes and have them grow back and cut them again and again and again. And this moves on to the next add-on, the red-headed centipede, the infamous centipede. This is a centipede that Jason put in Kaneki's ear, and, well, that damaged Kaneki so greatly, because just imagine a centipede crawling in your ear. Red Spider Lily. The red spider lily is a flower that appears, I think, exclusively in the anime, if I remember right, when Kaneki cannibalizes his subconscious version of Rise. This is a CCG ID card, and this is, well, just an average CCG ID card, I suppose. Could say it's Amon's, but yeah, not much information to reveal anything else other than just a CCG ID card. This is, of course, Yakumo Yomori's mask, which gives him the nickname Jason. And this is Kaneki's signature eye patch that he wore during the day when he isn't the eye patch ghoul. And he used this to cover his ghoul eye as he could not hide it normally. And those are all the add-on descriptions in the references I can tell you off the top of my head. It is pretty clear that his Mori is a reference to how he killed and ate Jason. It may not be one-to-one, but it's still clear what it is. He grabs and holds your limbs, lifting you up and tearing away at your stomach with the use of his Kagane. While doing so, he asks you the infamous equation, what is 1000 minus 7, before licking the blood from his hands and giving into his desire to feed. He leaps on top of the survivor, feasting while simultaneously impaling them with his Kagane. This is very similar to how he ate Jason, and honestly, I wouldn't have any other way, as this Mori is wonderful to look at. Definitely one of my favorites. I'm not biased, you are. In conclusion, this is everything I have been able to gather from the PTB so far. My knowledge in Tokyo Ghoul has been diminishing, so if I got something wrong, please let me know down below. And I really wanted to make this because I wanted to gush about Tokyo Ghoul. It's nice to see it get some like love and recognition after like so long, and it's kind of weird almost. But yeah, and I've got to say, as a Tokyo Ghoul fan, I love this inclusion. I love it when Behavior experiments with their IPs and tries something new every now and again, because if you told me back in 2018 that Tokyo Ghoul was going to be in DbD, I would have thought you were geeked, I ain't even gonna lie. But anyway, enough out of me. I hope you enjoyed. Read Tokyo Ghoul if you have not already. And, yeah. Love you, bye.